Hey, welcome to 2 Cents episode 80. This is January 23rd, 2017, and no, your mind did not fuck with you. This is a special Monday edition of 2 Cents, just because. Well, this is a live on Dr. News show we do here at Dollar Reviews. We cover tech, TV, movies, streaming, video games, VR, and this week as a very special edition, politics. I'm Brian Gillis. You can follow me on Twitter at Brian Gillis. It's BRYONGILLIS. You can also send me an email at brian@dollarreviews.net, and I'm here with Stephen Mominax.
Hello, everybody.
He's very enthusiastic, it's very late where he is, and he is tired, and he's had to listen to me talk about some stuff that he's heard me talk about for like the longest time ever for the last 4 months.
And I have the flu, let's not forget. That's why we're a day late. Yeah.
Hey, but here's something.
I could not talk yesterday because I had a sore throat that was that bad. I was worried it was laryngitis or strep throat. I don't know, probably just a really severe sore throat, whatever. It's better now, but I'm here.
I actually set up Chef Gio to replace you last night, but he was late at work, he was stuck in traffic, and I kind of just sat in bed and looked at the ceiling for a couple hours anyway, enjoying my time off while just thinking about my life. But here's something maybe to put some pep in his step right at the beginning of the episode. It's the big thing that happened this week. This is why I'm happy that we're recording on Monday night instead of Sunday. Star Wars Episode 8 has a title, and it's The Last Jedi. It is important to note here, Jedi is both plural and singular, so who knows if someone's going to die, or this means it's the last 3 of them, or God knows what. But hey, it's got a title. That means the trailer's around the corner.
It's pretty obvious. I mean, well, on the surface, we can assume one thing. Might not mean that, but
Mark Hamill's not dead. They didn't kill off Luke.
No. It's not that he's dead, but it's probably referring to him, as in it'll be more about him.
I hope so.
Then again, hey, I don't know. It's cool. It has a title. It's another Star Wars movie. We got 11 months to go.
We should have less than 11, actually. It's coming out January 15th, so we're at the 10 months and counting
December.
days. Yeah.
December 15th. You said January.
Oh, sorry. It's January. It's coming out in December. But yeah, we're at
so it's 11 months.
No, it's 10 months. It's 10 months and some days. That's what I'm saying.
No, 11 months, because, I mean, a month ago, that would have been 12 months. That would have been a full year. We got 11 months to go. A little less, maybe, like 10 months and 3 weeks.
Exactly. It's 10 months and some days.
All right.
So, yeah, we should be getting...
I just like 11. 11's a good number.
We should be getting a teaser any day now, I would assume.
By April.
I'm curious what movie they're going to attach it to.
Well, it'll probably be on... Guardians, but Celebration is this April in Florida, so they're definitely going to show a trailer
I think
there.
the trailer's coming April, but I think a teaser is going to be literally any day now. I'm almost surprised, because think about it. How much more buzz would they have gotten if they premiered a teaser with the title attached to it versus just announcing the title directly? So it has to be like a day from now. No one really
does that anymore now.
They should have. With Star Wars, you can get away with that.
Cool, yeah, no, but like Force Awakens, they announced that title, I think 3 weeks before the first teaser came out.
It's a different situation, though.
That was also an unprecedented teaser because it came out like more than a year before the movie was even due, and that was just to get excitement around it, really. But yeah, no, I'm pretty sure the very first thing we'll see, it's probably going to be from Celebration. That probably will be the teaser that we get.
I think it's going to be like next month. I wouldn't be surprised, actually. I mean, Oscar nominations are coming out tomorrow morning. If during the Oscar ceremony, mind you, it's on ABC, it is Jimmy Kimmel, they're going to have the after show across the street at the Jimmy Kimmel Live. Maybe, I don't know, during the Oscar presentation itself, during the ceremony, the trailer, I meant the trailer, but the teaser airs.
Could be, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to whet the appetite of fans for Celebration and give them a bunch of stuff beforehand. Then it makes it seem like there's no reason for them to go to that.
They would go anyway. They went for how many years when movies weren't even being produced?
They would bitch about it, though.
Fuck them. Who cares? Like, if you have that much money, you can get work off, you go to the hotel, you're doing all that shit. Like, Celebration attendees are crazier about that stuff than Star Wars, San Diego Comic-Con is, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's like one of the weirdest fandoms out there. So yeah, a lot happened this week, especially in terms of what we talk about, but then more so, like I said, in terms of what we don't, and I'm referring to politics. As most people in the free world, or maybe the world in general, know, we have a new president here in the United States. So we have the 45th president of the United States. His name is Donald Trump. And to say response to that was mixed would be putting it lightly. We don't have enough time, even in our 2-hour general runtime to go over everything that transpired. But I think the biggest one is, despite the kind of protests that were happening there in D.C., which are really negative, just one day after the inauguration, we had the Women's March on Washington, which happened to be like one of the biggest peaceful protests in history. In the downtown LA alone, there was over 750,000 attendees and not a single arrest. I know in Austin, Texas, I think it was like it was like 300,000.
Yeah, it was huge, and it was beautiful, and I was right in the center of it.
Oh yeah, I did not go.
I witnessed it. It was awesome, though.
I was busy doing something else. I'll get to that a little later on the show. But one of the other cooler things that happened, and this has gone like viral now because of a segment from yesterday, but Shia LaBeouf actually like announces his latest art project in response to the presidency. It's called "He Will Not Divide Us," and it's a live stream housed outside the Museum of the Moving Image in Queens, and it's intended to last the entire 4-year or 8-year term of the president. It's crazy because all it is anyone's invited to go out there. It's facing the streets, and you're just supposed to go out there and say in protest, "He will not divide us." But there was like someone who was out there earlier today, I believe it was, or maybe it was Sunday, who was like a white supremacist, and Shia LaBeouf, you can find this clip, it's like a GIF, it's a video, where he's like getting all up in Shia's face, or maybe it's the reverse of that, and he's not getting hurt or anything, but just imagine someone being right on your face and yelling, "He will not divide us." You should look this up. Like I said, between the Women's March in Washington and this, much better than what they actually did on D.C., because they burnt like Donald Trump's limo on fire. Like they were destroying, I don't know if they were destroying businesses, but it was not peaceful. They were doing fucked up shit. There's also like a GIF that I saw on Reddit on the front page where there's a guy after the inauguration wearing a "Make America Great Again" sign, picking a hat, picking up all of the litter that was left from the protests yesterday and the day before. So, hey, you might not support the president, you might not support his supporters, but it looks like they're already picking up the slack. And this is the best thing about the presidency so far, too. Like I said, there's been lots of negative stuff. I don't want to get into that because you can go anywhere on the internet, too. But amid all this negativity facing the press, especially with the press secretary, they announced something today which is pretty fucking cool. Spicer announced what they're calling 4 Skype seats that are going to be added to the press room. And what this is, it's going to allow journalists who were previously unable to attend press conferences to be present via Skype. And it's the right step, I believe, for anyone in the internet-connected world to make their version of public, just journalism more realistic, because it does suck if you think about it. Like, you have to live pretty close to the Capitol, you have to already be in cahoots with that press junket to even get there. I mean, and then also you keep in mind, like, when the president travels, there's a section on Air Force One just for the press.
For the press alone.
Yeah. So now up to 4 people at any time could be invited, and they can get their answers I don't know if they'll be answered, but they can at least ask questions, or at least they can be present. And this opens it up to just about anyone, including, people in college. They're doing, school journalism or anything. And I think it's, a silver lining for everything else that's happened so badly so far.
Yeah, that's at least opening up a relationship with the media instead of closing the doors on one.
Yeah, it's, like I said, there's been a lot of fucking stupid stuff, alternative facts, and there's going to be so many different sound bites for just, I would assume, the next 4 years. But I think I'm going to try to make it a point to bring out the better things on a weekly basis, or whenever they pop up. Maybe not the top of the show, just in general. That way people don't look at it like it's doomsday or the end of times. Because it seems to me already that we're kind of moving as a country forward. And I already saw this thing on Twitter where it was like, Donald Trump, he says that he doesn't care about his taxes, they're being audited or whatever. How about we have our next protest on tax day? And I like that. I would show up for that one. That would be kind of cutesy. I would like that. But it's not all about the president that's in office now. Let's also talk about the one that just left. Barack Obama and family is currently in Palm Springs on vacation, so that sucks for them. They picked the wrong time to come to Southern California. Yeah. Gotta love the rain.
You guys are getting hit real hard by rain.
Pretty damn hard. I love it, though.
Like, I've seen floods outside of people's homes.
Oh, no, yeah, it's
like
flooding on the freeways.
Shit, I am happy I'm gone from there.
Yeah, the freeways are flooded. The 110, I heard the 605.
Yeah, I heard the 405 was closed down in sections. That's insane.
I don't have work till Friday. I'm very happy
so
about
hard to
that.
Imagine that.
I can literally stay home until the rain's probably going to be over. So kudos to me. But what I bring up about the first... It's funny. It's like, in terms of terminology, Obama's plane and helicopter are no longer Air Force One or like Naval One. They have new names. He is always going to be a president, but do we refer to him as the first family, or is it like the Obama family now? Like how, in the same way that the Twitter handles were transitioned to the Trump inauguration, like I've always been confused about this kind of stuff because I know what an incumbent is, I know what a lame duck is, but literally, like what... He's always going to be the 44th president of the United States. He's always going to be President Obama. It's not like the ex-president.
He's always going to have like security around him.
Yeah, he's always going to have the Secret Service like that. Once you become president, you get that for life. But anyway, the reason I bring up the first family or the past first family or the Obama family, I'll just call him that from now on, is it's actually related to the show. It's a perfect just segue into what we actually talk about. Malia Obama is going to start interning for the Weinstein Company when the first family finishes their vacation in New York City. So that's really cool. She's going to Harvard, I believe, but she's taking like a year off before she goes. So she's going to be working for Harvey Weinstein, which is big enough as it is. But when I was reading about this, it came to my attention that she also interned on Girls last season.
Yeah.
So,
and I think she had to drop out because it just got too, they were still in the White House. And I guess they just couldn't shake off the press. I heard vague things about that.
I'm pretty sure I brought it up on the show. If I haven't, I've talked with you about it off air or other people. But without a doubt, spells out to me that the Obamas have intentions to stay involved with Hollywood. We know how big Hollywood was in terms of supporting them just with donations and super PACs and stuff. But I don't
know if necessarily it's the family as a collective, but more that their daughter just has filmmaking aspirations.
I think it's the family. I would be... You don't think Michelle Obama, given how much she was on TV between like Sesame Street and Ellen and talk shows, Jimmy Fallon, she was a staple on Jimmy Fallon, that she might not get a TV talk show or at the very least start appearing more often, maybe get acting roles? I'm pretty sure Obama already has an agent, and if not, that he's going to be in more stuff, whether that be TV. I wouldn't be surprised if like he guest hosted SNL in the coming months, just because.
Maybe it's just that, I don't know, that sounds kind of scary thinking about it that way for some reason to me.
It's like Bill Clinton was on Arsenio Hall, like, I don't know what George W.
No, if you're talking about, like, the family themselves, they have aspirations
I think they do, though. No, yeah, like, Malia, obviously. Sasha, who knows where she is? Is she even alive still? Is she, like, on the planet?
Yes, come on, jeez.
But, no, yeah, I think Barack and Michelle, yes. We already got like 3 movies about their lives. I wouldn't be surprised if they're in a movie themselves. Maybe he gets a true biopic and he stars in it or something. I think he's already finished his next memoir, and that's going to be published like in the next year. But no, trust me. Something's going to happen probably before June where it's like, yep, okay, you're right, Brian. Yeah, he's moving to Hollywood. I
mean, I'm sure that that family, there will be more stories about them in entertainment just because this current administration is so hated that even, 3 days within...
almost 3 days.
Within their rule now, that people are probably going to be hungry for stories of the Obamas just for some comfort.
Maybe.
Because that was, like a lot of people really bought into... hope and change, and it made them feel good. So that's probably, I could see that happening at least. But
did you see that news item?
I don't know which one.
It's like Trump's already announced what his next campaign slogan's going to be, and it's from the Purge Anarchy. That's awesome. That's so cool.
That's from the Purge Anarchy?
Or not Anarchy. What's the most recent one? Election Day?
The election? I did not see Election Day. Is that seriously from that?
Yeah, like it's like keep America great. Yeah, I guess that's in the movie.
Oh my God,
but
that is fucking terrifying.
I think it's just like a a weird coincidence in the same way, and I think this is the stupidest thing. I didn't even look at it. That Trump quoted Bane in his inaugural address.
Yeah, that was funny.
It's but he didn't. He said, number one, people that give speeches anywhere in the world don't write them themselves. They have speech writers.
Steve Munchkin wrote it for him.
And on top of that, also, it's one line. It's not What I was surprised by is how did the trades pick up on that? Because who's seen The Dark Knight Rises enough times to know that?
A lot of people.
No, I'm saying to know the Bane speech, though, is
No. I saw that through Twitter. There were several people. You follow
a lot of people.
You follow a lot of cinephiles. Somebody that's very savvy with the internet and happens to watch a lot of movies. That clicked for them right away. So they put
Batman.
that together real fast.
I love Christopher Nolan. I've seen The Dark Knight Rises once, okay?
There's a lot of people that watch that movie multiple times. There's a lot of people that love that movie.
I'm sure of it.
And there's a lot of fans that love to shit that movie, but you know that they've seen it a crap load of times because they love to nitpick it.
Oh, I take that back. I've seen it twice. Movies. I saw it in theaters, and I saw it when it hit HBO, but I've seen it twice.
I've seen it several times. People love to quote Bane, even if they like shitting on that movie still. There's things...
It's not even a real Bane. It's the fucking worst Bane out there. It's so sad.
Tom Hardy, really?
Tom Hardy as Bane. He's good as Tom Hardy, but as the character himself, it's only a little bit better than Batman and Robin.
Ouch.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, no, I think that The Dark Knight Rises got hurt by a lot of fans bitching about the voice during the prologue, and then the voice just got more loony and just cartoonish, when they started messing with it, and I wish that they didn't do that, honestly, because it was fine as it was when they did that prologue, but I don't know, that movie came out, almost 5 years ago now. We don't need to talk about that anymore.
4.5. Anyway, the other big thing that happened this week before we get into the teasers is Sundance, obviously. Mm-hmm. People are still in Park City looking to find what's new, what's going to be big, and more importantly, especially for the show, purchasing stuff. So this isn't just going to be about Sundance, but also just streaming acquisitions in general. The big one and the biggest purchase pretty much in the history of Sundance goes to Amazon. They snatched the Big Six for $12 million. But then perspective, Birth of a Nation was 10.5. And that was a big deal. This is 1.5 million more, and this is for a romantic comedy. Written and starring Kumail Nanjiani, rather. I'm very excited about this movie before it even got purchased. I remember him tweeting about it. This is something that he wrote with his wife, Emily, who's played by Zoe Kazan in the movie. He plays himself. But it's about their actual relationship. So that's really exciting. It's a little bit dramatic. It's a little bit funny. It's directed by Michael Showalter, produced by Judd Apatow. But yeah, I can't wait to see this. I'll probably actually go out in theaters to see this one. I was supposed to see Manchester by the Sea on Tuesday. I missed my showtime, so I didn't see it. It was real sad. But it's gonna be on Amazon.
You should still see that.
I had a free ticket. Okay, I lost it, but it's going to be on Amazon in less than a month.
It is.
So at this point now, I'm tomorrow, if it doesn't get nominated, it probably will for Casey Affleck and probably Best Picture. But if it doesn't get nominated, I'm definitely not going. But if it does, yeah, maybe.
Well, let me ask you, are we doing a top 10 this year?
I don't know. I'm so behind the times.
All right. Yeah, I guess I'll just post mine at some point. Yeah. But yes, it's in my top 10.
How about this? You guys out there, if you're listening to our show, go find our best, I think it was top. It wasn't called the top 10 show. It was the top of 2016 show or whatever.
Yeah, something.
Or 2015. Find it, listen to it. Yeah. If you like it, we'll do another one. If you don't, fuck it, and go on Letterboxd, read our list. That was a long 2 hours. In my opinion.
I don't know. I still feel I don't know. We weren't prepared for that. You threw in a bunch of awards in there, which were cool to start out with, but. Mm-hmm. I didn't know what to give any of them because I had to think of them on the fly, so that was a bit tough.
Oh, no. I know we definitely did it last year after the Oscar nominations, and not necessarily was I want them to, not impede, but, influence my picks, but more so, I'm slower than the Academy is, to be honest.
I'll tell you what, just for fun, if you, unless you want to wait and see if we can do the show, I can read off my top 10 right now real quick.
Nah.
No.
Nah. We can save that. I
can tell you where Manchester by the Sea is.
If anything, we can... I got so many things to watch now. between Final Fantasy 15, which I still haven't finished, just fucking around with this girl still, or fucking with her, and then work and life and all kinds of different stuff. I've just...
All right, yeah. I'll hold off for now.
I'm probably going to...
I looked at my list and I got excited.
I'm probably going to watch Moonlight tonight. I think so.
Oh, yes.
I wanted to watch it yesterday. I wanted to go see it in theaters, but I think I'm going to watch it tonight. Just because Call Me By Your Name got a lot of praise. And I was like, ooh, I want to watch a queer movie. Oh, I got one of those. Okay, yeah, I'll check that out. The big other acquisition, which isn't a Sundance thing, like I said, these are just buys, period. YouTube Red has acquired Nick Cannon's King of the Dance Hall, which just sounds really interesting. It's a fish out of water dancing flick, written, produced, directed, and starring Nick Cannon. It's gonna mix like narrative drama with like documentary footage, so it's gonna be its own kind of movie. And I've never actually seen Nick Cannon dance. I don't think so. Who knows if he actually can? But this is...
Did he even do that? Or okay, no, I thought Drumline for a second.
Yeah, there's
I have not seen that movie, by the way.
Really?
But I just realized I just realized that's not what that movie's about.
That might be a Debt to Cinema pick in the future.
I would not mind it.
I've seen it so many damn times. I don't care. I'm always in the mood for that movie.
I've had that movie just pop up in my mind before, and I figured if anyone's going to probably force me to watch that, it's going to be Brian.
It's one of those things where like it's not on cable frequently anymore, but anytime it was on, I'd watch it. The music, I mean, it's a movie about music, but
oh yeah, no,
it's so good.
I remember it being on HBO. I remember seeing TV spots for it when it was in theaters. People have always said that it's great. I've never watched it.
Seriously, like there aren't many good like teen. Well, I hesitate to even call that a teen movie. It is definitely not a coming of age movie, but it is targeted towards like a teen audience. It's a hit movie.
Well, it is a high school movie, isn't it?
No, it's college. But in
I
terms
know when
of
it came out,
the 2000s,
definitely...
there aren't many of those good like teen movies, and that is one of them. Like it. But it's more than that. Like I said, it's just a solid movie, really good. Well, like I said, this King of the Dance Hall is going to YouTube Red, and the reason I'm even announcing this is because this is a dance movie. YouTube Red, they're making the Step Up adaptation, so they just solidified that they're very serious about dancing. It makes sense when I remember talking about Step Up when that series was announced. Lots of people on YouTube post dancing videos. You can learn how to do any kind of dance.
For the longest time, like, the most popular video on YouTube was the dancing video, like the guy on stage, right? Like,
I don't know.
This is back when YouTube first started. I completely forgot, but yeah, like, that was... that's always been one of the biggest things on YouTube, so totally it makes sense.
Personal uploads of dancers or choreography videos, or, like, here's a video at the crowd, here's a mosh pit, here's a whatever, and then you throw into that...
the step-up movies integrate YouTube into that.
Yeah, the later ones, yeah. Yeah, it's a big
Yeah.
thing, especially Revolution, which is, oh man, that's a bad movie. But yeah, I'm not exactly excited about this movie. I still don't have a YouTube Red subscription. I did the trial. I was gonna do it. I think about it every once in a while, just in terms of what you get at that price point. It's a really, really good deal. But I am interested in this movie. It's going to be premiering at TIFF, so I think that's like a month from now. We're going to see the reviews. So yeah, I'm curious as to even how this got purchased. Maybe they showed it like strictly just to YouTube. But kudos to Nick Cannon anyway. You know, he was really good in Chirac. He got like almost no praise for that from any of the award ceremonies.
That song's really good too.
Which one?
For Chirac.
Oh yeah, you said like some other movie. Yeah. I mean, the movie's not that great, but he was so good, so good.
That movie's really good.
Final little piece of acquisition news, though, and this is for Hulu. Magnolia, who we watched a movie from for tonight, it's 9 Lives. You can catch that in Debt to Cinema on Wednesday or maybe Thursday. They have been historically tied to Netflix. Their contract just expired, and now Hulu is going to be getting the pay TV window for their movies. It's going to be all releases going forward, but as of right now, older titles such as like Hero Dreams of Sushi, Blackfish, and Tangerine are still on Netflix for the time being. So if you haven't seen any of those, maybe not the whale one because I passed on that, check them out. Tangerine is still really, really good. I might have to rewatch that before it leaves Netflix because I'm definitely not paying for it.
If you're in Austin, you can go see that at the Draft House this weekend, by the way.
Oh, cool.
So... yeah, you can.
It's like, that's the kind of movie, though, like, how does that play on a big screen? Because it is shot on an iPhone. Like, does that...
Well, no, there's several... It's more of a theme, like, of black filmmakers, or just of...
That's not a black filmmaker.
A black... Or of, like, you know, of just black characters. Like, in some way, it's about minorities, like, whether it's whether it's African American women or like there's Creed that's playing there. They had Belle, they had Selma. In this case though, it's two African American trans women. So that's part of the theme, I guess.
My point was I don't know how that would look on a big screen.
It would be weird, right?
Yeah, because it looked good on my screen because it's not too big and it's streaming anyway. But
keep in mind, when it first played on a big screen, everyone at the end found out that it was shot on an iPhone.
Bullshit.
And they were shocked.
They knew. People knew.
No, they were shocked.
You had to have known.
You could assume it's low grade, but no, like right when they said it, that surprised a lot of people, and then it just came up in the headlines.
I guess.
So you look at it now, and it's like, okay, yeah, I could totally see it, but even when you're watching the movie, it's like, no, it looks good enough, and you get over that iPhone thing real quick. And there's some shots in there that are, that don't seem that raw, that are really, really well composed. That just, it's amazing that they got that on a phone. What, like 3 years ago now?
Something like that. It was all things considered, it's an older iPhone by today's standards. You can listen to me gush about Tangerine last year. Said it's on my.
We talked about it on the Dollar Review show. I was a fan of it as well.
Did we talk about Dollar Reviews? We definitely.
I did. Yeah, when I saw it,
when
that
you
was
saw
near the end of. Okay. This is what I did. Yeah, that day I did a strange double feature. I did that with Boys Don't Cry.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
And I talked about that on the Dollar Review show. Yeah, both those are great movies. Yeah, Tangerine's a lot of fun.
Yeah, but Tangerine was on my year end of the list, so.
Also has James Ransone in it.
Yeah, Officer So-and-so. These are the teasers, though, which I teased a minute ago. These are the news items that are kind of going to whet your appetite before we get to the headlines, because we get a little bit more after the teasers. We do teasers, then we do our penny thoughts, which is basically like reviews for stuff we enjoyed this week. Then we pimp out our shows that we have, in case you aren't familiar with our actual stuff. And then we got the headlines. So if you're listening to the teasers in a minute here, and you like what we're talking about, you like our viewpoints, you can skip ahead about like 35 to 40 minutes and hear the actual headlines, because there are some really, really good ones this week. The first teaser, though, is a Twitter-only thing. This is the kind of thing where I was actually upset about the trades even reporting on it, because anyone that gave a shit actually was aware of it as it happened. But Guillermo del Toro, he started a Twitter poll for fan interest in Hellboy 3. He said if it reached 100,000 votes that said yes, he would arrange a sit-down with Ron Perlman and Mike Mignola. It only took like 48 hours, not even, it was like 36 hours for the votes to be tabbed. He contacted Ron Perlman. He said he's interested. We're going to see if I can get Mike now. We can do the sit-down. So Hellboy could probably actually happen now. The director is busy between his, what do you call it? His, what is it, Life with Monsters? What is it? Museum of Monsters?
Troll Hunters.
No, I'm talking about his...
the exhibit.
Yeah, the exhibit. It's on the road right now. Right now it's in Mexico, I think it is. But he's up in Canada shooting a movie currently. Plus he's got the museum exhibit. And then, he's also promoting Troll Hunters all the time on Twitter. I saw like a little bit of the first episode, and I put it down just because it's, not a long show, but it's 23 episodes. And it's Anton Yelchin, and I'm still not quite over him being dead. His final movie got purchased at Sundance too, so I think that one's going to Netflix. Still really sad to even think about. But Hellboy 3, it's most likely going to happen. Super excited. Hopefully he's directing it. But it would be awesome to actually get a bookend to that with the way that Hellboy 2 ends, to finally get closure for that story. Really excited. I voted yes. Of course.
I did not even see the thing, but I would have voted totally.
Yeah, it's too late now, but I was like, I think I responded to him like, for the love of God, please, fuck yes. Like,
yeah, if it happens, I'll be like, hey, cool. It's been long enough now that I think we're coming up on 9 years since Hellboy 2. That if it doesn't happen, I'll be like, whatever. But I would like to see it, honestly.
Yeah, I really want to see it more so than Pacific Rim 2. Or just about anything else out there. Godzilla 2, which got Director's Day, and that's not even a news item because who the fuck cares? It's Godzilla.
Well, thank God it's not Gareth Edwards.
No, he's. I would assume.
Even though I have not seen Rogue One, which apparently.
Even though Rogue One was good, I would have to assume that he's kind of in director jail right now. So it might be a little bit of time.
No, are you kidding me? Why would he be in director's jail for making like the biggest grossing movie of?
Because he didn't make the movie, Disney did, and the reshoots are what saved it, not him. That's a known. That's a known fact. I
don't think so. I don't
know. The trades have been reporting on that since the movie opened. Like it was like 2 weeks. No, like I didn't even check it, but there was something on. I think it was on Variety this week where it was like this is
The
exactly
movie
what
was in trouble because of him.
No, it was more so like these are what the reshoots really did for it. And, like one of the big
I mean,
things
I
is
heard that one of the big Darth Vader
Yeah.
moments that everyone loves was a reshoot.
yeah, Darth Vader's castle is a reshoot. So, and which is
Now
just
I know he has a castle.
he has a castle. He has a fucking castle, which is cool.
Sweet. All right.
But yeah, I think he might be a little bit in jail. Hellboy, staying with comic books for a second here, something that we're excited about on this show. The biggest movie star on the planet.
Just sorry, no, he can't fucking be in jail, especially after making Godzilla. There's just no
I think
way.
he's a little bit in jail.
I don't see how. But
It's been, what, over a month since Star Wars came out, and he hasn't been attached to something else yet?
yeah, he can be on fucking break. It took Nolan forever to announce Dunkirk after Interstellar. People take long
Different kind
periods
of-
of breaks. What else has J.J. Abrams been doing?
Different kind of
Like,
filmmaker.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
People take breaks.
Maybe not jail, but timeout. Maybe he's on timeout.
It's only been a month, and the movie's still playing theatrically.
Anyway, jumping from Hellboy to DC, the biggest movie star on the planet is getting his own DCEU film. We already knew The Rock was going to be Black Adam in Shazam. Well, guess what? He's got a spin-off too. It's going to be a Black Adam star. So that's really exciting. That means that they're expanding what they're doing. You know, like the week before we were talking about the Green Lantern Corps having a cast running around. It was announced that the short list for that might include Ryan Reynolds, so I'm very excited. Our dreams came true. I swear to God, if that were to happen, like that would be even more.
I'd be cool with it.
That'd be
yeah.
even more miraculous than Deadpool getting a Best Picture nomination tomorrow. Which is like,
Do you think that could happen?
Yeah.
If that gets a Best Adapted Screenplay nomination, that'll be miraculous.
I don't
enough.
think you'll get an adaptation nom just because there's a lot of films in the running for that this year. But it could get a nom for Best
Well, but
Picture.
the WGA gave it a nom over Silence,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah, so anything can
or
happen.
not a nom. Did it even give it? It gave it the award, right? Or
I
was it
I
the
don't think it got an
nom?
award, but yeah, the PGA, the DGA, and like SAG and the SGA, like all the guilds have included it, and it's in their end of the year award ceremonies. So, I mean, Golden Globes didn't, but man, like no, I could see this. Like
It'll be fascinating to see how it.
It would
turns
be
out tomorrow,
awesome.
just after like how the Oscars are trying to restructure their, and changing out their membership policy and like. Just I wonder what this is gonna
It's
look like tomorrow.
Ryan Reynolds was nominated for Deadpool, but I think the movie, just given the kind of like I would much rather Swiss Army Man or Sing Street or something
yeah.
like that, like something that people should actually see because everyone that wants to see Deadpool's already seen it. And I'm not going to say it's a bad movie, but hey, you can listen to our review for it. It's not the best movie ever made. It doesn't push the envelope, but it is pretty funny, and it would be awesome to get like an honest to goodness comedy in the Best Picture running because that almost never happens, and it would also be the first comic book movie as a nominee too, so that could open the earth for things. But how cool, I mean, it's not gonna fucking happen, but imagine if like Batman versus Superman got a nominee in some category
won't.
other than
It
like best
won't.
action, or I mean best like stunt work or something like that, because it's topping the Razzies with Zoolander 2.
Best visual effects, probably yes, or best sound even, but
What if Ben Affleck got nominated? No.
it won't happen. No.
Like I could see best production design,
costume design,
yeah, costumes
maybe?
or production design, sound, just the way that Batmobile sounds. Maybe original score. Some good music in that movie.
I don't.
The Wonder
no, it's
Woman
not original because it's adapted. Because it's using the Man of Steel.
The
theme.
Man of
I mean,
Steel
that-
theme is almost never used. The new Batman theme
No.
and
it
the
was
Wonder
used,
Woman.
It ends with the Man of Steel theme. For God's
Even
sakes.
still,
And
the Wonder Woman one.
It's used quite often. Yeah, I know, but it's considered an adapted score. I don't know. The rules are
They're
weird
so
on
stupid.
that. But
In the same way that Toy
it's
Story
also-
3 got nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay because it was based on a film.
yeah, but also, I mean, even The Dark Knight that year, it didn't get nominated for the score because technically it's not an original score. And I think Batman Begins got the nom, but The Dark Knight didn't for those reasons.
It's so stupid.
It's just technicalities and whatnot.
It's so stupid. Like, if you want to go see,
Doesn't stop the work from being any less great, and that's all that matters.
sure. Batman and Black Adam to Spider-Man. Sony Pictures Animation Spider-Man flick is going to star Miles Morales. If you don't know who that is, that's basically the Black Spider-Man from Ultimate Spider-Man, the person that everyone in the world wanted Donald Glover to play when they announced the new movie, who, if people forget, is actually in the new Spider-Man movie. So congrats to him anyway. So he's Han Solo, he's going to be in Spider-Man, he's going to be in something else. Who knows what. But it's written by Phil Lord. I forget who the director is, but this is going to be coming sooner than people think. I think it's next summer. So back-to-back summers, we're going to have Spider-Man movies. And then also Spider-Man's going to be Infinity War. So Spider-Man's probably going to be in a movie.
Yeah, so he's going to be in, like, 2 movies next
it's
summer.
like one movie probably every year until the end of time or something that.
Yeah, it'll be for
forever.
Last year, there was a Spider-Man in a movie.
This year
we got a Spider-Man movie.
Next year, we're getting
Spider-Man
2.
every year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because even 2019, I think it's part 2 of Infinity Wars.
I mean, that's the point of having a really young actor play Spider-Man, because you can't burn them out, I guess. But yeah, if you're excited about Sony, we got a lot about them in the headlines. A really big or bad week for them, you'll be the judge. But this is something that we've been following next for quite some time here. If you know anything about China, you know that they're trying to rule the world. And AMC Theaters in particular, Dial on Wanda's exhibitor baby, they just acquired another theater chain. This time it's in Northern Europe. It's the Nordic Cinema Group, and it's the #1 exhibitor in Sweden, Finland, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. They're going to be paying $929 million to saddle them next to UCI, Odeon, and Carmike, which is basically going to secure AMC Theaters was already the biggest theater chain on the planet. This is going to secure that they're looking to dominate the whole thing and maybe even become a monopoly eventually. I don't know if I'm scared or excited or whatever, but it's an interesting news item because who knew that they had even more money to throw at theater chains? I didn't.
Jeez, I wonder when they're going to get Pate next, huh?
Like, maybe Alamo Drafthouse.
I don't. We'll see.
Like, it could be Regal Cinemas next. I don't know.
It could be.
It could be.
Yeah,
like,
no,
I mean, the good news about, like, monopolies aren't good, but if a singular company ran every theater chain, it wouldn't necessarily be bad because you would have a guaranteed theater experience. Your gift cards would work every single place. You would know what to expect. You'd know how many trailers are shown before the movie. Just like a certain amount of things, like it would be...
See, the Alamo is so different from other chains, too. I don't know if Tim League would sell, but... it's and, you know, plus they're expanding.
It's like people love to talk about how great the art-like theaters are, and then they also probably forget that that's owned by Pacific Theaters. Like, that's part of a huge theater chain, too. Like, it's not, you know, Cinemark or AMC or Regal, but it's still in the top 5. So, I don't know. Maybe they could spin off eventually. How cool would it be if, like, ArcLight spun off and joined forces with Alamo to, like, preserve the true movie house at a grand scale? Because I'm still waiting for the LA Alamo. Like, how much longer is it going to take?
It's coming soon.
Yeah, they've been saying that for like 2 years, man. Like,
I don't know. They have updates every once in a while.
Like, Long Beach is a big enough
like,
city.
I know they own the space for it.
Yeah, they're
but...
probably already working on the installation. It's just Long Beach is a big enough city that we could have an Alamo, to be honest. But who knows?
No, yeah, probably. I mean, there's even another. There's let's see, how many are there here right now? There's
like 5.
There's 5, and there's a 6th one under construction, literally 5 miles down the road from me right now.
That's ridiculous, man. Like, why do you need
and they've been updating that one pretty fast.
Why do you need that many of the same chain in the same city? Like, I understand it's homegrown, but even still, like, that seems a little overboard. Like, at that point, you are a theater chain.
Well, they're in different areas of town, too, which is nice. Like, there's one... the one that has most of the repertory stuff that I frequent for all those screenings is it's downtown, like on the street where all the tourists come and usually drink, where they shut it down like every weekend because there's a lot of people going to bars. Like it's in that kind of street, and then there's some in more of like, you know, family friendly areas, and then there's just one in a nicer, more millennial area, I guess I'd put it. But it's really weird. Like, there's different clientele in every location. So, yeah, they're putting another one in an interesting spot that I don't know if I'll frequent that much. But
you know, one of these days, I'm undoubtedly going to visit Austin. Someone else from film school is moving there right now. She posted this picture on Facebook where literally she like packed up her car and she's doing the road trip to move there. I was like, oh, that's exciting.
Really?
So
everyone's moving here, man.
It makes sense. It's like if you're a film grad, you're trying to make movies, go to a hip city not too far away that, you know, reveres that kind of thing and is basically birthed on that idea.
Yeah, the film culture here is really, really cool.
Yeah.
But job-wise, it ain't that easy, of course. But like, you're probably better off sticking in LA for that sort of thing. But I mean, right now I'm having a good time here. So
well, it's good to hear. Acquisitions are happening elsewhere. Excuse me. That's how you know it's live. Sprint has bought a 33% stake in Tidal, Jay-Z's streaming company for music. This is just the strangest thing that happened this week. So it's not a controlling share. They're not going to be the majority shareholders, but like Tidal's already weird when it comes to exclusives. Like they get certain albums first. Kanye's The Life of Pablo, anything by Jay-Z, Rihanna, Beyonce, like they get it first because it makes sense. They're all part of the same Illuminati group. But now there's going to be like exclusive streaming rights to certain stuff for Sprint members who also obviously have to have a Tidal subscription. So I'm not sure this is going to push people to Sprint. But what some of the trades, especially I think it was Engadget that picked up on this, that, you know, Sprint and T-Mobile are still probably fucking around with the idea of a merger so they can combat AT&T DirecTV / Verizon Comcast. Not Comcast. Excuse me. Verizon. So it's like, yeah, maybe this could help the T-Mobile merger happen, which I wouldn't be a fan of, but, you know, the spectrum would increase. But this just like it's the weirdest thing. Who wants to own only a minority of a music streamer, which isn't even one of the big three? I guess Sprint. Like, what do they have to lose? I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess everything. That how do you combat?
How big is Sprint? Seriously,
not that big.
mean,
It's number 4 in the country. They're below T-Mobile. Like, they're the smallest major. And they don't have like the.
I mean, what are the big ones? It's just T-Mobile, AT&T, and Verizon, right? Yeah.
So it's like
Singular has been dead for a while, hasn't it?
No, it went. AT&T became Singular, which became AT&T. They
right.
literally just changed the name. It didn't go anywhere. They just wanted a corporate rebranding to attract different clientele. That's all that happened. It was the weirdest thing. Like, you didn't like even have to change anything. You didn't have to sign a new contract or anything. Like, Singular died before the first iPhone came out. So that's over 10 years ago now. Because the iPhone was originally on AT&T.
Why the hell
Singular.
am I still thinking about it like it's happening recently?
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, 10 years isn't that long ago. Like, I remember seeing...
I remember the commercials and the ads online. And
I remember seeing my first iPhone. You know, like, it seems like the other day. So, you know, it's not that too far away. Here's the final piece.
It has been 10 years, hasn't it, since they launched the first iPhone?
It's been over 10 years. The 10-year anniversary was earlier this week or sometime late last week. The final teaser we got here, though, and this is about the Super Bowl because that's happening in just 2 weeks now. But the Super Bowl is going to stream for free with commercials, mind you, on the Fox Sports Go app. Playback is also going to be available on several devices, including Amazon Fire, iOS, Android, Xbox One, and even the website itself. So you don't have to be a subscriber. You don't get just the game like they had last year. You're going to get the game plus live commercials brought to you by the local area. So you're not just going to get the national big spots that you can watch on YouTube the day before, but also the local little things too. So this is awesome. I really hope that during the nominations tomorrow for the Oscars that the Academy announces a similar thing. It is stupid that ABC has monopoly on this globally. Show us it on the internet, every award ceremony, every sports game. Everything huge should always be available for streaming now, because if you don't let it, we're going to find a way to do it and pirate it. So please, for the sake of everything holy, Academy, let everyone watch it. I don't have a problem. I got cable now, but please.
Yeah, well, honestly, at this point, like, I can watch anything that's big live off my computer. That's just the world we live in.
Not the Oscars.
I watched I'm just saying, like, it only makes sense that they get there eventually, so.
But I think Golden Globes is the same
thing. If they
thing.
don't, I'm not going to complain, because I don't even know if I'm going to watch it.
You're going to watch
it.
it. Fuck off.
I didn't watch it last year.
You're going to watch it.
If I have access to it, it might be easier, but I don't know. Like, I really don't care about award ceremonies. I didn't watch the Golden Globes.
I didn't watch the Golden Globes either, but I watched the opening on YouTube the day after. It was really awesome. So you should check that out, especially if you guys like La La Land. Check that out. But no, there's something different about the Oscars, even when it's bad. Like looking at like the Anne Hathaway, James Franco year, or the Steve Martin, Alec Baldwin year. Like even when it's bad, I feel like seriously obligated to watch it. Like I have to, especially with us doing this show. Like I got to watch it. I like live tweeting the Oscars. It's fun. Like I'm not crazy about it. I don't live tweet the nominations and shit, but it's fun. It's like it happens once a year. It's not, even when it's bad, it's not horrible. The in memoriam segment, which is going to be
Oh my
so
God,
fucking
that's gonna be
depressing this year.
I'm not watching it now just because of that.
Yeah, right. It's gonna be so good.
I love how you always say, "Yeah, right." You're totally gonna watch.
You're gonna
that.
watch
when
this
have you
one.
been right? When have you been right about that?
You're gonna watch
ever?
Rogue
Every
One
time
in the
I say
next
I'm
2
not
months.
gonna watch something. I have no idea when I'm
Next
gonna
2
watch it.
months.
I really don't. I'm not rushing out to see it. When it comes out on DVD and Blu-ray, I'll just be like, okay, it's there.
Netflix.
I can get to it when I still don't have
You'll
Netflix.
find
You
a
know
way
that.
to watch it on Netflix.
I'm not going to rush out to it. If I get it, it'll probably be because I'll be bored and I'll just be like, all right, yeah, why not? Like, it's just a title I'm going to add on a watch list. I doubt I'm going to rush out to it.
Anyway, this is Penny Thoughts now. The headlines are going to come up very soon. This is the original 2 cents closing segment. Makes sense. We talk about the news, give our 2 cents on it. Now let's give our 2 cents on stuff that isn't major enough to get an episode of its own on Death Cinema or Dollar Views or whatever. This is just things that we did on our own. It's not a mutual viewing. It's just an individual little quick snapshot of what we do. And this week I did a lot of the same. It's actually a mixed bag, but it's really interesting. The first thing I'll talk about is I did VR, and I did a lot of it. The major thing that I did was the London Heist. This is something that was huge when PSVR was shown off over, what was that, like 2 years ago now? Wow. And it's interesting. You can read all about this. You can watch videos. It's basically like a Guy Ritchie like heist scenario. It's like there's a shootout that happens on the freeway, which I'd already done before. There's like a shooting, like kind of stealth moment that happens when you're trying to steal a diamond. But more interesting things that happen aren't even involving interactivity with guns. It's just, this is a seated experience. You're supposed to play it in a chair. And I try to fuck with the game, and much to my surprise, even though this is essentially a tech demo, it's on the World PlayStation VR Worlds disc, which is what most people call a demo disc, even though it has a retail MSRP. No, I couldn't. Like, it was coded really well. Like, the framing structure isn't great, but you're like kind of being interrogated in a warehouse with a camera shining on you. And, like, I instinctively put my hand up to block the light because it was too bright, and much to my surprise, like, it stopped the light. It was really fucking cool. But anyway, so you're sitting in a chair. You're supposed to be, like, tied in the chair. And I went, I'm my own man. This is my own game. I stood up, and I got up in the guy's face. And I was like, wow, you're way shorter when I'm standing up. But much to my surprise, his eyes were staying fixed on my eyes. Like, later on, like this weird moment happens where like a gun is taken out and whatever, and so you're getting a gun pointed at you, which is just unnerving, even in virtual reality, even if it's on PlayStation VR, which doesn't have the resolution or the field of view such as the Vive or the Rift. Even still, I was like, okay, I'm sitting down.
It's a gun pointed at
Exactly. I'm sitting down. I don't like this. Let me stand up and like move so you can't point the gun at me. Same difference. Even though I was standing up and I wasn't supposed to be, they're pointing the gun at me. And so there's other experiences on the disc that I haven't done. The London Heist is the one that I knew I had to do eventually. There's like the deep sea shark diving one that I probably just won't do. But I do have another VR game that I'm getting in the mail any day now called Until Dawn Rush of Blood, which is like a really interesting hybrid. It's a on rails like roller coaster shooting range game, and then it also is scary, so there's jump scares. So I got it for $10. It's supposed to cost $20. I'm gonna get it. I did no rush on Amazon because I wanted the pantry $5 coupon or whatever. Yeah, London Heist, for what it is, it's like one of 6 experiences or games on a disc that I got for free with my headset because I got the lunch bundle. Really interesting, especially because that studio was at Sony London. They're already working on their next VR thing. So I'm curious to see what they can do when it's a full-fledged budget with not a rush development cycle. It's not a tech demo, because just from I don't even know the right term, but just from a technical standpoint, it was really interesting. Even if the story didn't exactly work, if I didn't care about the characters, if I was confused, but like one of the cooler things that can happen, you're sitting like in a bar and someone's talking to you like in a fast-paced Guy Ritchie type of way, and you have a cigar in front of you, you have like a cell phone, you have a lighter. You can pick the cigar up in one hand, and then you can pick up the lighter in the other and light it. And because of the way that they coded it, if you inhale, the microphone on the headset knows you're doing it, and you're gonna see the end of the cigar get lit. And then if you inhale long enough, when you exhale, you see smoke come out of your mouth too. So just a really cool thing.
How does it differentiate that with your vocal cords? Like, just
it just
Like,
it knows.
like, could you be taught? That's
It's like, think about right. You know what I'm doing right now. Like, you can tell the difference between those two different tones.
It just recognizes the sounds.
It knows it, yeah. Like, it maybe something to do with the decibels, like the flow. I'm not sure. Really cool. The smoke itself did not look, convincing. But even still, it's just
it'll get there.
It will get there eventually.
Yeah.
But really, really cool. The next thing I did, and this is also VR related, I finally watched the Playtest episode of Black Mirror. This is the most recent season. It's on Netflix. This is the episode that's directed by Dan Trachtenberg. So this came out like just a couple of months after 10 Cloverfield Lane left theaters. Basically, I mean, if you haven't seen Black Mirror, it's like Twilight Zone, but in the current era. So almost every episode is like it kind of like instills fear in technology, and this episode in particular, I knew everything about it going in, like not the twist or anything, but I knew that it was a guy play testing like basically a VR experience, and I picked the weirdest timing because Greg, who's been on the show before, he actually co-hosted episode 64. It's called VR Tech and Spec, where we talk about what he does. He's basically he works out the kinks for VR experiences for his company 3D Live. And so the night of, right before I watched this episode, he invited me randomly to play test a VR experience with his company. And so I decided to watch this thing that's supposed to scare you about what can happen in virtual reality, and I did not sleep. I got like 2 hours of sleep. I had to I almost was late. It started at 9. Like, it was 9 to 3, okay? Like, close by. It was like a 15-minute drive. I was so late. Like, I set an alarm early. I had enough time. Somehow it didn't go off or whatever. I jumped out of bed. I drank like a rock star. Like, I was speeding on the freeway. Like, it wasn't raining. I was so happy. And then I go there, and it was... we basically did nothing. Just sat around and talked and like, played music on our phones and stuff. But yeah, I can't exactly talk about what I playtest. I didn't sign an NDA, so technically I can, but I don't want to do that. Out
of respect.
Exactly. I want to get rehired to do this again. But I was playtesting something, not for his company, but for this company called Mediamation. And what they do is 4XD, which sounds like 4DX, and that's because they're basically the exact same thing in their competitors. So it's a chair that moves around with air blasting on your face and water and scents and stuff. And so in a theater experience, it kind of helps you be more there in the movie. But when you throw VR into that equation, it makes you feel like you're really there. So the experience I did was like an ATV, basically, that had like hydraulics and wind and scents and stuff like that. And it was a game. So it was a 2-player game. So there's a driver and there's a gun, and then it's going to be multiplayer too. So this is going to be, they didn't say where it's going to be exhibited, but really cool in terms of and this was on Oculus, but just in terms of, this is still early days VR programming, but it was really cool, especially just being in an environment with people that are just as aware and knowledgeable about the thing that I'm most excited about on this show. And so, for instance, the guy that was actually programming the game that I was playing for, like, we were talking about PSVR, we were talking about a couple other things, VR porn, but then he brought up the Void's Ghostbusters thing from New York. He did it. Mm-hmm. So that was really exciting, hearing him talk about it, like looking over a rail, being scared. Like, I was sharing things that he hadn't heard about, but it was just really exciting to be around people that, like I said, they're fully in the loop, and I'm the one actually on the outside looking in. So yeah, that's the VR stuff I did this week. And then Greg, after we finished, he came home with me, and we did a couple other VR things. I showed him Super Hypercube, which you saw. He checked out a couple other things. And so I'm pretty sure he's going to come back again. He's like, yeah, let me see more of that VR. Let me check that out. The final thing that I did this week, and this is like... I'm
just taking notes. But
yeah, this is like a multifaceted thing. As I said at the beginning of the show, on Wednesday, I was supposed to see... First off, I was supposed to see La La Land in IMAX with my aunt. That didn't happen. She had to cancel. So instead, I got a ticket to Manchester by the Sea. As you would know it, I fucked up. I didn't get to see my movie. I went and visited her anyway. Turns out that was the right thing to do. Turns out a cousin of mine died that same day or the night before. So she was like, in a bad spot. This is someone that I didn't even know existed, really. I just met his mom like a couple of months ago at my grandfather's wake. So, just a lot of death in my family recently. And so, I spent the night with her at home, and once you know it, this is the day that Damien Chazelle programmed a block on TCM So we watched that. I watched about the final 30 minutes of The Umbrellas of Cherumberg. I recorded that. I'm going to check that out. Totally fucking weird if you've never seen this. It's a Criterion Collection selection. It's going to be coming soon. But the whole thing is a musical, and not like... it's beyond description. Like, this is Jax Demi. It's a new French New Wave musical. It's so bizarre. Like, it's just... They're not singing. It's more like they're conversing in song. And it has... You can tell very obviously that this was a big inspiration for La La Land, because it even does like the fragmented seasons where it like time jumps and like the moods of that kind of stuff. But yeah, you gotta check this out. I'm gonna watch it for real. Maybe it'll be a Debts of Cinema thing, especially if La La Land wins Best Picture, which it probably will. But it's so weird. I think you'll really get a kick out of it too, especially because it's in French. Really interesting. And the thing that followed Umbrellas of Cherumberg was Meet Me in St. Louis, which I'd never seen. So, you know, she saw this in theaters. She saw it many times. I finally got to see it. This is I forget, Vincente Minnelli.
Vincent Minnelli?
It's Vincent Minnelli. So it's Liza Minnelli's dad. It stars Judy Garland. Makes sense. They met on that movie. They got married not too long after, had the kid. But this is like a really strange musical. It's not even a musical. It's also fragmented in the La La Land type of way, where it's like, here's a season, here's a season, here's a season, and it's not like a straightforward movie, and it feels like that. Like, it's snapshots in the life of girls growing up in St. Louis around the 1903 World's Fair. So just like a really interesting framing structure is like adapted from like a series of short stories. But why this is notable is because of the music that is in it. It really shocked me. Like, there's this really good song about being on a trolley, whatever. Do you know the Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas song? Much to my surprise, it originates from the movie from 1943, and I had to pull up Wikipedia because I didn't believe my aunt. I was like, no, this isn't from a movie. She's like, yeah, it is. I was like, what the fuck?
Damn.
Yeah, like, that's how... The movie's not so great. I'm not a fan of Judy Garland, but, you know, it's Technicolor. It's only a couple years after Gone with the Wind, or more accurately, The Wizard of Oz. And it's a gorgeous film, but there's just like a lot of things wrong about it. But in terms of just Have Yourself a Merry Christmas, yeah, kind of like must-watch territory. But I didn't watch the whole block. The final thing of that night, it was a little too late, I had to leave, was Rebel Without a Cause. So he did pick... Everything he picked was, hey, I made La La Land. Here's the things that inspired La La Land. Check them out. Really interesting, though. But
yeah, Rebel Without a Cause is kind of the obvious one.
The super obvious one.
Just how many movies are shot at the Griffith Observatory?
Transformers.
That's right. Yeah.
Optimus Prime pulls up at the Griffith Observatory.
More like they just go to the outside for some reason, just so that they can stand there and watch the
meteors fall, or whatever the fuck it was. It was a total weird...
It was cool.
It was a weird idea, but yeah, it looks really cool.
It is.
It's cool. But yeah, that's what I checked out this week. If I had to buy anything for $1, it's that Black Mirror episode. Will definitely make you rethink some tech stuff, especially VR. And it's Dan Trachtenberg, and there's some funny Portal 2 is shown in the episode. Mm-hmm. Most notably got famous because he directed that Portal fan film. So yeah, check that one out on Netflix. But what about you, Steve? What do you check out this week?
I saw Samurai Cop 2, and it sucks the hair on my nuts.
Yeah, no shit.
I fucking hated it so
You remember
much.
In particular during the Samurai Cop episode for like the last 20 minutes when I talk about how making a movie like this on purpose is impossible unless it's really good, like Black Dynamite. So Samurai Cop 2 proved it, right?
Yeah, well, it's weird because it's like, it's doing that.
It's trying to do that.
I read at the beginning. It starts off in 1991, shortly after the events where he marries the girl, but then she gets killed, and so he goes and just hides off on his own just to be alone. And it even does the weird fucking color timing shifts, and has that guitar riff coming up randomly at points. So it's trying to be the same thing. But then also not. When you cut to present day, it just becomes really weird. And Samurai Cop at least makes sense when you're watching it, compared to this, in that as dumb as it is, okay, you get that there's a car chase happening. Okay, you get that those are bad guys, and you're told that they're drug dealers, and like it's not delivered particularly well, but you at least know what is what for the most part. This, it's like, I don't know, like it just gets weird for the sake of it, and it's like the stuff in LA is present day in LA, and then there's stuff in Japan which looks more like it's, you know, it's not really Japan. They're just sets that look like they're from a cyberpunk Luc Besson film, and then the editing style is kind of like Spring Breakers, and it just is weirdly hallucinatory in that sense. And then Tommy Wiseau is in there, and he's just losing his mind, and I don't know what the fuck he's doing. And there's so many random characters that are introduced where you have captions over who is what. It's like you literally do not know what you're watching, and like none of this really makes sense, and it's just fucking it's so boring when you're watching it. Like I think the biggest thing that they probably failed to do is like what sticks out, what makes Samurai Cop more memorable is probably, now I'm thinking about it, is the writing, because really just, you know, the insane scenes that come out of that scene, just from the way that they're written and just the way that those interactions play out, that is completely absent from Samurai Cop 2, because there's just no way they can recreate that. Like, it just goes batshit crazy and does its own thing, but it's also really self-aware, and it just, it really, really sucks, like, a lot. Like, there was only one funny scene. But I mean, it's also, what's weird though is like everybody from Samurai Cop is back in this one, like down to the smallest things. Like that's probably, you know, the only stuff I really laughed at was when they were actually referencing the first one in somewhat amusing ways. Like even that fucking lion head makes an appearance for the love interest in this one. And even the love interest in this one, I don't know, it was weird. The fuck, you remember the waiter in the first movie?
No.
He comes back. Apparently, he was also a gun runner the whole time, so he's a criminal, and then they bring him back and make him a flight attendant in this one.
Yeah, no.
I don't know why. I don't know what. You know what? I don't even think I want to talk about it anymore. I really.
This is what happens. Like I said, like because I listened to that episode, which isn't like something that happens frequently as soon as we record or when we finish recording, and most of the conversation isn't even about the movie. It's literally about this class of film, and yeah, you should have just known. You should have known better.
Yeah, no. It's like I still wanted to anyway, and like I know there's a documentary just on the making of this one, and I'm curious to check that out. But no, I mean, it's weird too. Like this thing feels more like a bad movie of today, in that it really feels like a film student just showing off his visual style off his DSLR camera, and like just throwing in all these really weird editing flourishes and thinking that he can make these really cool high-speed action sequences just because he can speed up the frame rate a little bit and make it look something like The Raid. But it's just, no, this is like bad filmmaking by today's standards. And like, you know, I appreciate something like that might be bad on Samurai Cop's level even more now if that like accidentally ends up being entertaining. It's like, you know what's funny is like there's so many flashbacks to the first movie in this one that like it's just weird, you know. Like I don't care to put much of a stake in this argument anymore, but if anyone wants to make a case for film being better than digital, then they just need to show this movie, because all the scenes from like the original movie look way better, and they were all shot in the day because they didn't have any lighting equipment for that movie. So it's, I don't know. It's just one of those things. But yeah, not like, yeah, you told me, and I had to do it anyway. But also, I mean, I was sick, so I was literally bored just watching a bunch of stuff. And maybe it was the cough syrup that I felt like I was hallucinating during some of it. But yeah, this thing was just a weird fever dream that just was not pleasant. And like, I literally laughed at one thing, and it had nothing to do with stuff that was actually happening with the main characters in the movie. Like this is just kind of like, oh, it's lazy, like, oh hey, we made a cult movie and you gave us money for Kickstarter, so let's do something else again and just poke at things that you like. And it's like, I don't know. And then I guess Tommy Wiseau, I sort of laughed at the dumb shit he did, but it's just like, it's
no. I think you've talked about Samurai Cop 2 longer than anyone else on the planet. What's your other shit?
I think there's bigger fans of it than us. I would have rather watched Rogue One than Samurai Cop 2.
Still can.
I think about it. Yeah, well, not yet. No. Yeah, good stuff. I saw Hell and High Water though.
Hey, I gotta see that this week.
Yeah, I mean it's not gonna crack my top 10, but it's a good like Coen Brothers light crime movie. I mean it's nice to see a West Texas crime movie, and just like the locations that they get here and just the general feel of it. Like I really like that stuff.
Modern day Western. Hey.
Yeah, but it's there's bits of Blood Simple in there. There's bits of No Country for Old Men in there, but it's I mean, I ultimately walked away from it going like, yeah, that was really good. I wasn't wowed by it. It's a nice, simple crime movie. I really like the locations that they captured around it and the feel. And yeah, it's it's just a nice, simple little Western. There's not much to say about it.
Highest grossing indie of 2016.
How much did it make?
I don't know. What's the highest grossing?
Yeah. More so than La La Land?
That's not indie. That's a Summit film.
Okay, yeah.
Like Summit Lionsgate is a major distributor now. After, I mean, you got 50 Shades. Well, no, 50 Shades of Grey is Paramount, but you got fucking.
No, that's Universal.
Universal.
Yeah.
Speaking of, that sequel is coming out so soon. 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Okay. Are you gonna see it?
No.
Then let's not.
I'm just saying, I was gonna.
Yeah, it took them 2 years to get there because they had no idea what the fuck they were doing as far as prepping a sequel. Like, it took them forever to get that off the ground. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean...
Well, it'll make money.
It's going to make so much money. I predict opening weekend, even though it's going to be rated R, I would assume, it's probably still going to make like 70 million plus.
Probably, yeah. Well, I mean, I mean, like, I know why that movie is successful, like, and, it's fine.
What's that fucking line from my Letterboxd review? I don't have sex. I fuck hard.
Anywho, third thing, what could I go off on? Yeah, you know what, Magnificent Seven.
The remake of the remake.
Since I'm talking about Westerns. Yeah, it's weird because it's actually a remake that should be a lot of fun, but then also...
that first trailer looked a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's like it has the ingredients of everything that should be really badass and cool, but then it feels very formulaic as it goes down the road, and it's like, I don't know, it's just like, the way that the action plays out in the end, it's just like, it feels kind of generic, and it's just not that exciting, but the characters here are a lot of fun.
Well, you've seen the Yul Brynner version and the original, right?
Yeah, no, the Kurosawa version, and also Battle Beyond the Stars, which that's the Roger Corman version. But the reason that's significant is because that's James Horner's big
first movie,
break. Yeah, and that score is still so great. Like, it's so great that Corman kept recycling it and putting it in a lot of shittier movies that followed. But I love Battle Beyond the Stars, man. That movie is so much fun, and like I love that for a James Horner score. There's bits, like little echoes that are lifted in here that just play out, and it's just those Horner's horns, I guess I'll call it that. It's really I got giddy when I heard those.
It's just his final movie, right? He doesn't have any more.
Yeah, that's his official final score. Which I don't think he composed 100%. Like
the main theme, character themes.
Disc, he gave them like a disc with 7 tracks before he died, and like worked off the script, but. There's another guy that's credited on working on the score as well, so I think that he had to fill in like the parts that he couldn't, because obviously it's not like the whole thing is scored to film. It's scored to the script, but they inject it pretty well. Denzel's fun. Chris Pratt fucking steals the show. Ethan Hawke is good. Who else? Vincent D'Onofrio. Like this is a really awesome cast, and it's just like the setup for this is so good. And then at the end of it, I'm just kind of like, well, it was a decent way to kill 2 hours. Like it's one of those movies where it's like, I wish it was better, but there's still a lot there that's really, really fun.
Yeah, I know I'll see Hell or High Water in like the next week and a half. Magnificent Seven, that's one of those like midway through the year when I don't have any clue what to watch. I'm like, oh yeah, there's that remake, even though I know exactly how it ends.
Oh, damn it. I should have talked about Passengers. That's what I should have.
Oh, you saw that?
I did see that, and I was a lot more positive on it than everyone else. Like, I I think I see problems that other people have, but like, I don't know. At the same time, I'm not sure. Like, I don't want to spoil it because
Yeah, I know there's some problem with the ending that everyone hates, where you're like, you watch the movie for like an hour and 40 minutes, and you're like, what the fuck just happened? And then you hate the whole movie.
I think it's just like the final, let's say, 2 minutes. Yeah. Just the way that the movie ends, it's like it kind of slightly negates a bunch of the stuff that came before. But there's so much about it that is so freaking good that like I was far more blown away by it, just by the simplicity of the premise, just how it took its time to like get to where it was going. And I like there's so many like just simple visceral thrills that are not like, you know, they're not like big epic trailer moments that like feel very big and like overblown for a spectacle. It's like, no, this is like a really big spectacle that, you know, just really chooses its moments to be thrilling. It's like everything feels like just as entertainment, like it unfolds organically and just sucks you more into it. And like I'm sort of trying to be cryptic just because I don't want to spill out details, but like yeah, there are some issues with it, but like just as a theatrical experience, like I was just getting sucked into it more and more, and I just got way more into it, and I just really was looking forward to seeing where it was going to go, and I thought it was just great as entertainment.
Well, too bad Sony couldn't get a home run with that one.
No, it's I think I saw an article saying right now it's the highest grossing live action
for Sony
film of last year. Yeah, and it's gonna make a little bit of profit. Like right now, it's about to cross. I think it's on the cusp of crossing 100 mil, but pretty soon La La Land's going to be the highest grossing live action film, probably as of next week. But it's doing
Sony,
decently enough worldwide. No. I'm saying right now it's Passengers. Pretty soon La La Land will pass it.
Star Wars. But, Star Wars
Passengers. Wait. Original live action film. Yeah.
Well, La La Land is far from original.
You know, Passengers is doing decent. Well, it's not based on anything. It's an homage to something, but it's
an
not
homage to a lot of things. It's the pastiche of Hollywood.
Whatever. I mean, Passengers is doing enough to make profit, and it'll be fine for that. It's just not a runaway hit.
Anyway, Sony, they had a lot of trouble this year, and we're going to be talking about them in about 15 minutes. But before we get there, we're going to pimp out our other shows like I said we would. So you just heard us review a couple of things, some movies, some video games, some life experiences. And if you want to listen to us do spoiler-free reviews without recaps for new releases, we do that every couple of weeks now because it's the award season. So most recently we did Elle and La La Land. We have 2 episodes for both of those actually. We have Dollar Views and then also A Few Dollars More, which is our more in-depth spoiler-ridden stuff. Other stuff from this year: Green Room, Swiss Army Man, Sing Street. Those were all big hits. Last year you heard us talk about Chirac for a minute. We got an episode on that. Anomalisa, The Revenant. Anomalisa anyway. We got a special episode for that. If you like what's her name, Jennifer Lawrence, we did an episode for Joy. Also The Hateful Eight if you like The Magnificent Seven. And as we started...
Just all the top 10 stuff from last year.
Not our top 10. But...
Joy was on
Was
mine.
it? Was it? None of those. Only
it was number
only
10.
Anomalisa was on my list from those. And in terms of what we did this year, almost all of them are. But as I was talking about earlier when we were doing Hellboy, talking about DCEU and Spider-Man, we cover a lot of comic book stuff. So if you want to listen to us talk about Batman vs. Superman, you can hear 3 episodes of that. We did Suicide Squad, Doctor Strange. We have an episode for every Star Wars movie besides Rogue One, even the Star Wars Holiday Special. We did Ghostbusters. That was a big blockbuster. You can hear me talk about Warcraft. Anything that big that's basically like an action movie that's AAA, or I wish I could say XXX, we have a review for. I really want to see that. I still want to see it. I don't give a shit. It made a good amount of money.
Oh, damn it. I could have also talked about Split.
Don't talk about that. It doesn't matter. Everyone's saying it's amazing and it made a ton of money.
It's worth seeing.
I want to see it.
It's also fun.
Like, if I get another free ticket this week, which I can check in just another hour here, I'm going to go for sure. And I want to probably see Split, even though that's not my kind of movie.
People are spoiling way too many things.
I know nothing about it. I just know that there's a twist ending, and I know it's supposed to be really good.
It's best to avoid everything you can on it right now, because way too much is being said.
I'm pretty good about that. When it comes to things that aren't spoiled, though, you can listen to us do Debts of Cinema, which is our semi-topical list of shame show. So I said we just recorded an episode for 9 Lives, and no, that is not the film starring the cat voiced by Kevin Spacey or
Spacey. I told you that they almost accidentally gave me that,
like
right?
8 other movies with the same title. This is from 2004. It's directed by Rodrigo Garcia. It's a really interesting anthology film, and it's about 9 different women. It's shot on film in like 10 and 13-minute segments, basically, that shoot an entire reel. It's all single takes. It's all blocked really well. So you can hear us talk about that. It's going to be out probably Wednesday. Some other stuff that we have, you heard us talk about Samurai Cop 2. We did Samurai Cop last week. The week before that, Tricked by Paul Verhoeven because he won, L won rather, not him. Some other stuff we did recently, Mean Streets, Mixed Nuts, Joy Noel, Black Christmas. And we had Black Christmas. We were joined by Brendan from Screen 101. So they have a really good podcast, and he's going to be back with us in, about 2 weeks now for My Bloody Valentine, the original, not the remake. Same goes for Black Christmas. That was not the remake. Even though I do want to listen to that. Mind you, like I said,
next Christmas.
I was listening to... some of our older episodes. I was listening to the romance playlist on YouTube, and the episode that we had Tyler on for 2 cents, what was that? The Blowing Smoke episode. I was like, oh yeah, we did Black Christmas. And he's like, oh, did you do the remake? We're like, no. And you were like, fuck no, we didn't do the remake. And you're like, actually, no, we weren't doing it yet. And he's like, oh, are you going to do Black Christmas? And we're like, oh yeah, maybe. Huh, yeah. And like that gave us the idea. So that was a fun thing to re-listen to. But yeah, that's the stuff we do. We do a lot of it. We have, I want to say probably 200 hours of content now or close to it. And we do it for free. We don't have ads. We don't have any kind of support except the people that listen to us. So, if you want, you could pay us for what we do for you. Patreon.com/dollarreviews. We have all kinds of incentives there. Most notably, you could sponsor us and we'll pimp you out on any of our shows or maybe all of them. We can work out a deal. Stuff like designing business cards. I like doing that. I haven't done it in a while, but I can make one for you. All kinds of different stuff. And if you don't have the money to do so, but you want to support us anyway, every little counts. You can follow us, like us, whatever on social media. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. I think I want to make an Instagram now. That'd be fun. But even better than that, iTunes or Google Play Music. You could just follow us. You could, subscribe to us. Or better yet, leave us a review or some comments. We love feedback. You can send us emails, whatever. As I promised, at the top of the show, and we're finally there, here's the headlines, which is kind of a misnomer because usually you start with the headlines, but whatever. I like saving it just because I don't know why, but I do. But the big one this week isn't actually that big, but I thought it was the coolest thing. Rumor has it that James Cameron is working with Tim Miller on the final chapter in the Terminator franchise. Tim Miller, if you don't know the name, is the man behind Deadpool. He directed that. Before that, he was a visual effects guy. But why this is notable is because 2019 marks the 35-year anniversary of the first Terminator, which means that the copyrights are going to revert back to Jim Cameron, and he apparently wants to finish things off. They want to finalize it. So who knows if Genesis, Salvation, or Terminator 3 are going to be part of the timeline. Maybe they'll reboot it in some way. I hope Genesis is kept in there somehow just because of how positive James Cameron was on it. But this is exciting. It's very unoften, it's infrequent that the creator of a franchise gets it back in his possession. And
also, I think what's his name? The guy that runs Skydance.
Ellison.
David Ellison. Yeah. I think he's still planning on being involved. I read that right. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know. I doubt they'll retcon Genesis, especially since he was so proud of it and Cameron was so positive on it. That'd be really weird if they did
we
that.
weren't so positive on it. We have an episode for that. That's Dollar View Season 2.
But there are good things.
Oh yeah, there's some good stuff. Most notably, no, not really anything notable.
It's a good script. It's just, I don't know, that if that movie had a different director, I think
that it had a different just advertising facility.
That too. Yeah.
If they just promoted that a completely different way.
They had good information. They just failed to deliver it properly.
It's like people gave Suicide Squad a lot of shit because, quote unquote, they put all the good stuff in the trailers, or the publicity made it seem like a movie that it totally wasn't. Whatever. You can hear lots of people say different things about that film, but they sold it the way that it had to be sold. Whereas Terminator, they just ruined everything. If you've seen the trailer for that one, you don't have to see the movie. You're not going to get anything extra. There's not even any good action set pieces. But hey, you do get a Chinese Terminator as the bad guy. And China, they're pretty big time on the show. We opened up with AMC Theaters, buying more theater chains owned by Dallin Wanda. Here's another Dylon thing. Thomas Tull, the CEO of Legendary Entertainment, stepped down this week. He leaves behind a 12-year legacy, which includes a ton of big movies, most notably almost everything Christopher Nolan did at Warner Brothers, including the Dark Knight trilogy, Godzilla, Pacific Rim, some other smaller things. Seventh Son, which was a stinker, but did pretty big things for mostly an independent production company, even if they were attached to the hip of other studios, whether that be Warner Brothers or Universal. So who knows what Wanda's going to do now? They have a slate still. They got, King Kong Skull Island, which is already out, so that one's fine. They got Godzilla 2.
Is that on China?
Well, I'm not saying it's out, but I'm saying, they're editing it. Yeah,
soon.
It's going to be out later this year. But they got King Kong versus Godzilla. They got Pacific Rim 2. They got, what else? I don't know. But, they got a lot of stuff on their slate that's already been announced. Jurassic World 2 is going to be legendary. So who knows what they're going to do, and this kind of sucks for them, but I would have to imagine that Thomas Tuchel got a lot of money from a severance package, and he's probably just done doing Hollywood things. But this isn't the only China thing. That's kind of big news. The real Chinese thing this week is that Paramount has just signed a 3-year, $1 billion deal with China. Terms are with the Shanghai Film Group and Huahua Media, and they're going to be co-financing 25% of the output and possibly even market the new slate at home. They're hoping for 15 to 17 films a year for the next 3 to 4 years, which is up from just 8 in 2016. It's hard to imagine that a major film studio would only put out 8 movies. What year is this? But yeah, this is a natural fit since Huahua helped produce Jack Reacher 2 and Star Trek Beyond. So they already were working with Paramount, but $1 billion projected over 3 years, they should just sell their studio at this point. What's the point? What if you're getting that much money from the outside, what are you going to do? When's the last time Paramount had an honest-to-goodness big hit? I mean, they got Transformers in a couple of months, but outside of that...
10 Cloverfield Lane.
I mean, that was a critical success.
And it was a hit.
It was a fairly good hit.
It was a modestly budget film that made but there's never been a giant moneymaker $1 billion grossing flick in a long time. Probably this next Transformers will get them there, but even then, there's a lot of Chinese money behind that, especially since that last movie appealed to the Chinese demographic more so than Americans.
Paramount put out Terminator Genesis. That didn't work. These Star Trek movies.
It did in China.
Well, sure, because like I said, they had a Chinese bad guy, and it was produced by China too, Alibaba. But no, Star Trek Beyond didn't do well.
I don't know. I think it broke 100 mil.
It did okay. I'm pretty sure Warcraft grossed more worldwide than Star Trek.
It made 60 mil in China though, so Star Trek Beyond was not exactly a big hit over there either.
Which is weird because they do have an Asian person on their crew. I don't know if that means much.
Well, no, I mean they're not that big.
Directed by a Chinese filmmaker.
They're not that big on
Justin Lin?
No, on anything with Star in the title. Even Star Wars is not a crazy thing over there. Rogue One did okay over there. Force Awakens did okay, but they're not. Yeah,
but this is.
I guess expected to be.
This is
same.
Justin Lin. Even if they haven't seen his shit, they would see the name, and be like, "Oh yeah, he's from here." Let's see that one maybe. But we've known for a while now, over a year, that Paramount's been toying with the idea of selling a big stake in their studio. Maybe Viacom sells it outright, and we're just going to have a new person. And we know Dylan Wanda wants to own a movie studio. So Paramount kind of just opened the door. But even more so than that, the rumor around town is that Sony is looking to sell its TV and film business altogether. And this comes just a week after their CEO left to go run Snapchat. So the rumor, like I said, is if the Emoji Movie and Spider-Man Homecoming don't do well, they're going to pull out. They're going to stop doing it. They're just going to focus 100% on video games and consumer electronics. They were in Hollywood for, a good 25 years, but if it's not going to be working for them anymore, they've had really, really bad track record, basically since Spider-Man 2, it seems like. That, yeah. Mind you, not the...
Hancock made money. I mean, I know a lot of people don't like it, but it was a huge hit.
That wasn't too far after Spider-Man 2. Was that 08, 07?
It was 08, yeah. That was the Dark Knight summer where there was a lot of great stuff out there.
I think this is right on the money, especially since they haven't announced an interim CEO. And yeah, they've tried and tried again. Just between Spider-Man, just looking at that's a co-production with Marvel Studios. They're not even making Spider-Man by themselves. Like, this is their big baby that they've had since, the early 2000s, kind of cemented Columbia as a force to be reckoned with, or Sony on the whole. They don't own the rights to James Bond anymore. They've had some kind of big hits recently between, like, the Hotel Transylvania movies, or just anything that Sony Pictures Animation does. Trolls, whatchamacallit, what's that movie called? Sausage Party. Their animation group is good. They got their Spider-Man movie next year. But, yeah, live action,
I mean, what, Superbad?
It's been a while for that, too. Like,
that's been 10
any
years
of, like, the
too,
Will Ferrell
yeah.
stuff, like, it's been a while. Like, any of their Judd Apatow stuff.
They used to make a lot with comedies.
They've kind of just hit the skids over the last couple of years. And I think that's just because they've fragmented things. And between The Hack and Amy Pascal leaving, like, look at Ghostbusters. Like, that was not a bad movie, but it was marketed wrong. They went for, like, no one cares anymore that they made an all-female casted Ghostbusters. It didn't work. It wasn't because it was the female cast. It's a real funny movie. It's a comedy that happens to be a blockbuster and supposed to be the other way around. It's Ghostbusters, And so I don't know what else they have planned. Like I said, the rumor is, Emoji Movie's coming out before Spider-Man. Spider-Man's going to be in July. If Spider-Man doesn't do well, which it has to, they've already announced a sequel. People are sold on that. I would predict that it's going to probably make like 600 or 700 million just in the States alone. But yeah, if for some reason, if something goes wrong, I wouldn't be surprised by the end of the year if, they do announce, hey, we're pulling out. We're going to be only PlayStation now. And that would be really interesting, too, because I wouldn't be surprised if that were to happen. If they pulled back on some of their adaptations, such as The Last of Us and Uncharted, and decided to just put those out on PlayStation under their PlayStation Originals banner, which would be the smartest thing to do. That way they know how to run a movie studio, they know how to attract talent, and they sort of know. And they also have a huge distribution platform. There's over like 53 million just PS4s alone out there, not to mention PS3s and Vitas and cell phones like I have, all of those things. But yeah, it's like the proof's in the pudding too. We're talking about the CEO leaving. The bigger thing that left this week, Seinfeld jumped ship. Seinfeld is the next comedian to leave where he was prior to go to Netflix. So Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee is leaving Crackle. The entire library and a new season, which is going to have over 20 episodes, is coming to Netflix by the end of this year. It's also going to be getting 2 stand-up specials, just like Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle. And it's also going to be signing him for a production deal. So Jerry Seinfeld is going to be doing a lot there. He's going to be overlooking scripted and unscripted content. He's going to be bringing Comedian Cars Getting Coffee and, like I said, 2 comedy specials. Industry insiders peg this at being over $100 million, which makes sense since Chris Rock is getting $20 million just for 2 comedy specials. So you can price the comedy specials at $20 million. Him doing the production deal, we'll call that like 10. And then, yeah, Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee is a really big hit. That library with all the special guest stars they have, including Barack Obama, plus over 20 episodes. It doesn't look good for Sony. They must have done this on purpose. Like, this is proof that they are not serious about TV and movies anymore. This is, like a year after they sold the Seinfeld rights to Hulu. They could have kept those. They could have put that on Crackle. So I don't even know. You there? Uh-oh. I wonder if his computer died. Oh. Maybe he fell asleep. I mean, I can finish this alone if I have to. I think I have to finish it alone. Let me check my phone. Maybe he texted me? Nope. Okay. So I'm going to finish this one alone. The show's almost over anyway. So yeah, Sony, it's not just comedians in cars getting coffee. It's not just their movie studio. It's not just their streaming. I was talking about the London Heist earlier in the show, talking about PSVR, how exciting that is. Some things have happened lately over the last week or two that the internet is... Let me give them another minute. Like, He's been pretty tired for a while now, so he's probably actually asleep, but... Is this part of the show exciting, guys? He's not on Facebook. It says he's on Skype, but I don't know. Try calling him again. But yeah, anyway, I don't want to believe it because I own one myself, but the internet is fearing that Sony might be pulling away from PlayStation Virtual Reality, especially since they just shut down one of their studios. The studio in question is Gorilla Cambridge, and that's the studio that made their esports hopeful rigs. I didn't buy the thing. It's still going to get support. It's still going to be online. It's still going to have the servers up, but they just put out a big DLC package a couple of weeks ago. That's going to be the last of the VR. The last of the DLC for that game, which is sad. But given that there virtually hasn't been any restocking of the headset since launch, and also that like the Move controllers aren't great, and things of that nature, but like Upload VR in particular had this write-up about a lack of support for both PlayStation Move when it was launched on the PS3 in 2011, and also the PS Vita just a year after that they might be abandoning the headset already. I don't know what to think about this because Resident Evil 7 literally just came out, and that's like a big selling point. But I own the Move. I've owned it since it came out. I own a Vita, and I use both of them, whether that's in VR or not, or at home or whatever. I don't know, especially since PSVR just got YouTube 360 support, which is something that in my research I found out is only available on PlayStation in terms of a tethered headset. Otherwise, it has to be mobile. You're on Google Play or Google Cardboard or Gear VR. Oculus and HTC Vive do not have YouTube support natively. So, I don't know. I'm going to take it with a grain of salt, but there is enough there that, yeah, I am worried. And VR had a big week, and the rest of the show is that. Probably the biggest thing that happened is that Palmer Luckey came out of hiding. He reappeared from the darkness at the ZeniMax court hearing. If you've never heard of them, basically they're the company that is claiming that Oculus and i.e. Facebook stole their idea. And there's a lot there, especially because how did this kid in his garage create a consumer-facing VR headset that could be backed on Kickstarter? How did he know that? When you had John Carmack, who's the CTO of Oculus now, working at ZeniMax at the time, they believe that he ran with some of their secret stuff, made Oculus, took the money, worked for Facebook, all these things. And it's a really interesting point. But I think it's more just notable that Palmer Luckey showed up, and also that he wasn't wearing sandals and a Hawaiian shirt, which I almost wore as like a cosplay joke when I did my playtesting gig earlier this week. This is the final thing on the show, and I wish that Steve was on it for this. Like I said, I don't know where he went. He died. Maybe his computer died. Maybe he's asleep. I don't know. Maybe his computer crashed. But we know about the Fox Innovation Lab, which is behind the upcoming Rise of the Planet of the Apes VR experience. They also did like The Martian and Wild. They're in cahoots with the virtual reality company, especially Michael Stromberg. But it turns out that was just the first step. The new thing that they announced this week, not necessarily at Sundance, but right in the perfect timing for it, is something they're calling Fox Next. And this is a collaboration between Fox and Within for wholly immersive content, not just tie-in promotional worlds. So the first project is Apes Experience of Their Own, which is going to be followed by I Remember You, which is directed by Within founder Chris Milk, and it's going to be developed by Spike Jonze and also produced by the two of them along with Megan Ellison of, Annapurna fame. So Within and Annapurna worked together on Life of Us, which premiered at this year's Sundance. That's a VR experience also. And Milk added that the two announced Apes projects couldn't be any more different in how we're building them or the end result. That's what's exciting about this new medium, though there is no right answer. I'm excited. I hope that especially since Within is on PlayStation VR and Google Cardboard, it's everywhere. There is no monopoly on this. That this is going to lessen the amount of time it takes for a major production to be available to the public. And also, there is no price window on Within. So this is free content as of right now. Maybe they'll have ad support. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll have to buy the content eventually. I hope not, though, and it's very exciting. Like I said, though, that is the end of the show. That is the week in summary. Thanks for listening. You can find us on the internet, dollarviews.net. We're on Facebook, Twitter, WordPress, Tumblr. You can listen to us on Google Play Music, iTunes, Pocket Cast, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, SoundCloud, and Podcat. Usually at the end here, Steve says goodbye too, but he's not here, so he won't. If you don't know where he went, I don't either. Hashtag where's Sasha. Send us some tweets, do something. Maybe I can get a hold of him. I hope it's been a pleasure. I hope you've had a good one. Can't wait to hear from you again. See ya.